Yeah, somebody's getting lucky after the show. It's Friday, so you know what that means. Let's welcome tonight's guest. I want to see his war chest, and his war abs, and his war butt. Co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend and author of the brand new book, The War on Warriors, Pete Hexon. Well, hide your feelings and your sons. Comedian Scott Capurro. She's like a speed bump, annoying and often found in the middle of the road. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Kat Tipp. And Epcot Center is his golf ball. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion, Tyrus. Before we get to some news stories, let's do this.
Greg's Leftovers.
It's Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them, so if they suck, we'll send Joe Mackey to Hamas wearing a pride shirt.
Trip to New York.
Yes. The Biden campaign is pursuing older voters in battleground states by holding events with activities like bingo and pickleball. That's weird. Democrats usually wait until elderly voters die before getting their vote. In a new book, Donald Trump questioned if Taylor Swift is, quote, legitimately liberal because she's so talented and, quote, unusually beautiful. Which is an outrageous thing to say. Swift is a 6 on a good day.
Wow. That's
Wow. Hey.
And you?
If I were a little taller, I'd be a 10. All right. By the way, Donald Trump is 78 today. Out of habit. Yeah. Out of habit, Donald demanded to see his own birth certificate. Earlier today at the G7 summit in Italy, President Biden met with Pope Francis, who told a disappointed Biden that he only does last rites in private. A poll listed what voters think are Kamala Harris's strengths and weaknesses. Her weaknesses include lack of leadership and low approval. Her strengths? She looks good compared to an old dead guy. Kevin Spacey admitted to flying on Jeffrey Epstein's plane with Bill Clinton and young girls. It's a shame about Spacey's mysterious death, said one woman. A Southwest Airlines Boeing flight experienced a terrifying Dutch roll with 175 passengers on board. A Dutch roll, you say? Said one man who quickly appeared holding a plate. Terrible.
Nice guy, man.
Terrible. A Missouri court is deciding if auto insurance should cover treatment for sexually transmitted diseases. See, that's why I always tell my SUV to wear a condom. Oh, man. During his first year in office, Chicago's leftist mayor, Brandon Johnson, spent $30 grand on makeup. Nancy Pelosi called him immediately to find out how he was able to save so much money.
30. That is unbelievable.
Restaurants are now unveiling robots that can cook, serve, and bust your meals. Great. Now what will women do?
A sexist would say.
That is just disgusting. How did that get in there? I should really read these before I read them. I share your outrage. Last week, anti-Israel rioters spray-painted and defaced statues in Washington, D.C. Joke's on them. Those weren't statues. California Governor Gavin Newsom says crime is down in Oakland, even though 97% of car break-ins were not included in the report. The city defended the lack of reporting, saying they left those statistics in IKEA. According to Gen Z, summer's hottest dating trend is the hot rodent man. Apparently, rodent men are not conventionally handsome, but with more pinched, angular features. I guess that explains J-Lo's new squeeze.
Big Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Here tonight.
It's a cute little rat. And a recent study claims that drinking Coca-Cola and Pepsi may increase testicle size and testosterone production. Already, one man has been stocking up. Now to the news. If Donald Trump is truly evil, why would the Dems run a brain-dead weevil? A new poll shows nearly half of voters surveyed expect Biden to forget where he is during the first presidential debate. The other half are afraid he'll remember and lead with a story about cannibalism. Also, this is true, 41% think he'll wander off the stage, which jumps to 100% if he hears a Mr. Softy truck.
Jesus.
But should we be surprised? Every week, Joe gets worse. He's declining faster than sales of Krispy Gnome puppy chow.
Why? Why?
So leave it to Team Trump to put out a mega supercut of Biden's greatest hits, where the hardest part was deciding which ones to use.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
She knows so long as she is denied, our freedom can never be secured. We'll never forget lying around and us hitting him lying around, actually.
It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line.
Oh, my God.
It's brutal, but the sad reality is we don't really need that ad anymore. Biden is unfit to be president, tailor-made for the 25th Amendment, and the Dems know that. Which raises a key question. If Dems actually believe Trump is an existential threat, then why are they running this? If Trump is Hitler, why is your only choice to fight him an Elmer Fudd with Alzheimer's? It's illogical. Unless, of course, you have a backup plan come November. Or else he would have replaced him already. So it's normal, in fact, it's necessary to be suspicious that the party is sticking to this plan. Right now, Trump's winning. The predictions have him pulling away. The betting odds, the shift in minority men to Trump, the current electoral college count. It's all Trump. So what if by some odd chance Biden wins? Do you think America is really going to buy that? That an incapacitated, liver-spotted crash test dummy is going to beat anyone, much less Trump? Shouldn't the Democrats be in a panic about the aftermath if they manage to somehow pull this charade off? The election will not be believed because our eyes and ears see and hear what that candidate is like. If Biden wins, this country will be in chaos, not because of any violence. It's because no one's going to believe it. There just has to be some kind of underlying shenanigans. Now, compare that to Trump. If Trump wins, no one's going to accuse him of cheating because he's the most scrutinized candidate in the history of the world. He can't fart without CNN assembling a 12-person panel. So my advice, to save the country some really bad post-election, why not do the right and honorable thing and run someone who's actually still drawing a breath? What say you, Joe?
No. There's no plan. It's just me. You want to know a secret? I'm not nice. I seen things you people wouldn't believe. Took down Corn Pop with a rusty chain off the shoulder of Orion. I had an uncle eaten by cannibals near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain. Time to die.
Oh, my God. Chilling.
You should have got an Emmy for that.
Pete, congrats on the new book. We'll get to that in a later segment, so keep your pants on or off. I really don't mind. Here's the deal. Do you buy this theory that there's a backup plan? Because they don't. The fact that they're running this guy knowing there's 5 months to go and he's already a mess.
I think they wanted a backup plan. I don't think there is a backup plan, which is staggering to think about considering what an investment they put in politics. See, the backup plan, the insurance policy for Joe Biden all along has been Kamala Harris.
Right.
You can't conceivably replace him with her. You also can't skip over her because she would be the first black female, and on their side, the firsts matter the most. So the insurance policies, it's me or nobody, or chaos. So
then that leads to my backup plan.
What's your backup plan?
Shenanigans.
Oh, well, if Joe were to win, I mean, he's about to debate.
Yes.
With the lowest possible expectations you can imagine.
Which helps him.
Big time.
Yeah.
That's like saying, I think I can beat, Tyrus in a fight.
About time. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
And if I survive for 10 seconds, I win.
No, that's like saying Pete is just a 5. And then they meet Pete and they're going, whoa, he's like a 6.
Something like that.
I don't know. I don't know anymore, Scott. What do you make of my theory that, like, they must know he can't win, so they got to have something else.
I think you just want to say the word shenanigans a bit.
Yes.
You enjoy saying that, don't you?
It's an underused word. Shenanigans. Shenanigans.
I think their backup plan is pronouns, the liberals. I do. I think they're just going to start calling Biden they instead of him. And then everyone will be, oh, wait, there's a team. Let's vote for them. It's not them, it's him. Oh, my God. I can't call myself him anymore.
Really?
No, I call myself him because I'm a retiree, basically, to the millennials. And they'll just point pronouns. So they walk out of the show and they throw stuff and they set me on fire like a witch. It's really hard.
Yeah, it must be.
So, yeah, I think Biden's going to be a them. And then when he kicks it, I think his son's going to take over.
Yeah.
Because he's such a hero.
Yes, he is.
And he can really fire a gun when he's high. So let's give him that, right?
Kat, Pete makes a good point about this low expectation thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but the point is, it's a reality. I mean, how do you deal with it?
They are really, really low.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to make it very easy for him to come out looking good. I bet you the only thing they're probably practicing is for how he can himself less noticeably.
lean back.
Like a more discreet way to yourself lesson.
No facial expression.
Yeah.
No, some facial expression.
I mean, because I'm going to say this all the time about how Biden's strength is his weakness. It's so hard to look like you're not bullying him because he just looks like he should be going to the hospital.
Right. No, I actually do feel a little sad when I make jokes about him, but then again, I'm not the one putting him out there. Dr. Jill is.
You can't have a spirited debate with someone who looks like all the spirit is leaving.
Yes.
I want him to be padded.
Yeah.
I'm afraid he's going to fall over.
Yes. Like those suits that, like, inflate when you fall over.
Yeah,
Have you seen those?
See, but
He can bounce down the street.
Yeah, he should come in like a full hockey gear.
Yes. All right, Tyrus.
I've got knee pads he can borrow if he needs them.
I don't know what that means.
Shenanigans.
Actually, you know what? I will give up. I will give up my time to talk for you to explain it to him.
What say you?
It's tragic. It's sad what we're seeing, and man, I know maybe you're in jest or not, but you're right, man. How can anyone in his family not say, "Okay, Dad, it's enough. Like you're done." It's sad. It's not fun. Like there's no joy in watching somebody wither away in front of us, and with supposedly the hardest job on the planet. Apparently, you can be one foot into heaven and 1 foot here and do just fine. So the job must not be that hard because they're not. But I think the shenanigans is right, and you're also the they/them thing. I think is more apropos. No, because I'm saying it now, and I hate saying this because I don't like conspiracies and stuff. I think the plan is they've already said it. The Democrats have always laid it out in front of us. Usually the stuff they accuse Trump of, they do. So, and if he comes in, he's going to take away what? democracy. So you can't let him in. So what we might have is the reason why they're not replacing Joe is because Joe's not going anywhere. And then they'll figure out who they're going to put in his place when he does the right thing and steps down. But I don't think they're leaving. I don't think they have any intention of leaving. I think we're going to see exactly what they accuse Trump of is what they're going to do. And they're going to say we can't give the country over to a convicted felon.
Right.
So I think that's what we need to get
But how
ready
does
for.
Biden hold on?
Yeah.
Like,
He doesn't have to. They hold on for him.
He only has to hold on till November. Enough. Survive a debate.
I think he meant hold on literally.
Yeah, those crippled hands.
yeah.
How does he manage?
Because to your point, there's no way they can be comfortable. He just listen. There's a lot of things you don't pay attention to. A man in a parachute dropping in front of you, you pay attention to. It's like, whoa! He literally was like, and started clapping at somebody tying their shoe.
You know,
Watch the film.
Your point about the family concern, if your 81-year-old dad liked to fly like Cessnas, you would tell him it's time to stop. He's president of the United States. Somehow that's less important than like a hobby.
He's
My dad
to stand trial.
Lived till he was 87 and was drunk all the time. I know, and he always wanted to drive the car. And my sister's like, we can't let him drive. I'm like, oh, yes, we can.
You're a terrible son.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.